Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. We're diving deep into some of the most intriguing NFL stories right now. And one that's catching a lot of attention is the situation surrounding Alex Anzalone, the linebacker who spent the last 4 seasons with the Detroit Lions. It's a story that's not just about a player and a team. It's about the bigger picture in the NFL landscape, especially with the NFC East heating up and teams looking to solidify their rosters for a serious playoff push. Anzalone, as many of you know, is a key defensive piece for Detroit, but his future is now uncertain, and that uncertainty could lead to a trade before the start of the 2025 season. What's really interesting about Anzalone's case is how it reflects the ongoing challenges teams face with contracts and player health. Drafted back in 2017 in the 3rd round out of Florida, Anzalone has been a solid presence when healthy, but injuries have been a recurring issue. Last season, he was sidelined after a forearm injury during that Week 11 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. He did return for the final game of the regular season, but it's clear that he's not been fully the same player lately. His stats, 56 tackles, including 7 for a loss and 4 pass deflections, are decent, but not the kind of numbers that scream cornerstone anymore. And that's where the question marks come in for Detroit. You see, the Lions are at a crossroads. They're a team that's been building something special, but their roster decisions are complex, especially when it comes to players with injury histories. It's not just about whether Anzalone wants to stay. It's about whether the team is willing to commit long-term to a linebacker who's struggled to stay healthy. Right now, with a knee injury still lingering and no practice time recently, it's hard to see Detroit offering him a new deal. It's a tough pill to swallow for Anzalone, who's expressed a desire to stay with the Lions, feeling like he's been a key piece in their defensive puzzle. But the reality of NFL contracts is that health and availability are king, and unfortunately, those are the very issues that might push Detroit to consider a trade rather than a renewal. Now, this isn't just a story about Detroit and Anzalone. It opens up a lot of questions about potential landing spots. We know that teams always look for upgrades, especially in the linebacker core, which is so vital in today's pass-happy NFL. And one team that's been mentioned as a possible destination, and I want you to pay close attention here, is the Washington Commanders. Sure, they've made some moves on offense, rebuilding that side of the ball and trying to find consistency, but their defense is still a work in progress. The Commanders, with players like Frankie Louvu and Dominique Hampton, have been trying to build a solid defensive foundation, but adding a proven veteran like Anzalone could be a game-changer. He's not the flashiest player, but he's someone who brings stability, experience, and a high football IQ. Remember last season, Washington's linebacker core was decent, but they lacked that consistent presence who can get after the quarterback and make plays all over the field. Anzalone, with his ability to cover, tackle, and contribute in pass coverage, could be exactly what they need to elevate their defense to a new level. And let's not forget the other teams circling around him. The Los Angeles Chargers are also in the mix. They've got Khalil Mack and Bud Dupree, but they're desperately searching for someone to give them more pass-rushing punch. Anzalone, although primarily a linebacker, has shown he can be disruptive and can help stabilize the front seven, especially with the Chargers' defensive struggles in recent seasons. Plus, with Joey Bosa's departure and the need for fresh blood, adding a player like Anzalone could help them finally push over the edge into real playoff contention. But what about the Baltimore Ravens? They've been through a bit of a reshuffle on defense after losing Jadeveon Clowney in free agency. Their linebacker situation is a bit uncertain, with Odafe Oweh, Kyle Van Noy, and David Ojabo all heading into contract years next season. The Ravens have always been a team that values stout defense, and they've been trying to rebuild their pass rush and overall defensive depth. Anzalone could be a nice piece to add to that puzzle, especially since he's experienced, and can contribute both against the run and in pass coverage. The Ravens, with their limited cap space, might prefer to lock in Oe long-term, but if they're looking for a quick fix, someone who can come in and provide leadership and production, Anzalone fits that bill. Now, I want you to pause here for a second. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So why is this story so important for the Commanders and for fans of the NFL in general? Well, it ties into the broader picture of how teams are constantly looking to improve their defenses, especially in a league where passing offenses are becoming more sophisticated and aggressive. The Commanders have made strides on offense, but their defense, which was a point of concern last season, could really benefit from adding a veteran like Anzalone. Even if he's not a superstar, his leadership, instincts, and experience could be exactly what this squad needs to take that next step. And let's talk a little about the history of the Commanders' defense. Over the past few seasons, they've been trying to rebuild a unit that was once dominant in the NFC. They've drafted some promising players, brought in new coaches, and have been trying to find the right mix of veterans and youth. But they still lack that consistent, game-changing linebacker who can anchor the middle and help orchestrate the entire defense. Anzalone, with his experience and recent familiarity with the NFC East from his time in Detroit, could be a perfect fit, especially if the Lions decide to part ways with him. The NFC East is a division that's always fiercely competitive, with the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and now the Commanders all vying for supremacy. Having a solid linebacker who can contain mobile quarterbacks, disrupt passing lanes, and provide leadership is crucial. Anzalone's versatility and veteran presence could be exactly what the Commanders need to add some grit and stability to their defense, making them tougher to beat and more consistent week in and week out. Now, considering the current NFL landscape, teams are increasingly valuing linebackers who can do a bit of everything: cover, rush, tackle, and lead. Anzalone's skill set fits that mold, and if he's available next offseason, the Commanders might seriously consider making a move. It's all about bolstering that defensive core to ensure they're not just competitive, but also capable of making deep playoff runs. And what about the broader implications? Well, the NFL is a league that's always in flux, and trades like this can ripple through the entire league. If Detroit trades Anzalone, it could open the door for other teams to make moves, especially those looking for a veteran presence who can step in immediately and contribute. It's a chess game, and right now, the Lions are pondering their next move, weighing whether to keep Anzalone, sign him long-term, or send him to a team that needs that linebacker depth. So, as fans of the Commanders, it's essential to keep an eye on these developments. This could be a low-key move that turns into a big difference-maker for us next season. The NFL is all about these subtle shifts. Sometimes the most unassuming players can become the heroes when it counts. And with the division heating up, every upgrade, every veteran addition could be the key to finally breaking through and securing that playoff spot, maybe even a deep run, and who knows, perhaps even contending for the Super Bowl. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on Anzalone's situation? Do you think he's a perfect fit for the Commanders if he hits free agency? Would you want to see the team make a move for him, or do you think they should focus on other areas in the draft or free agency? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more news, and more insights into everything happening in the NFL, especially with the Washington Commanders. So stay tuned, stay engaged, and keep that passion alive because this season promises to be one of the most exciting yet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.